Hello everybody, welcome back to another EOB podcast. So last weekend we have the release of 4 movies, or at least 4 big ones. They are the Legos Movie 2 and the rom-com What Men Want, Cold Pursuit, and the horror movie The Prodigy. Let's see how those movies did at the box office. Alright, so let's jump right into the top 10. Coming in number 1 is the Lego Movie 2. It opened to 34.1 million. This is a movie I said could open probably somewhere between 50 and 60 million because the first movie opened to 70 million. It went on to make 257 million domestically, 469 million worldwide on a budget of only 60 million. And for the sequel, I said, the luster has been gone from the Lego brand, as we've seen from the various Lego spin-offs like the Batman movies, the Ninjago movies, etc. Those movies haven't been doing nearly, didn't even come close to the height of the first Lego movie. Subsequent Lego movies, just weren't performing as well. And now we have the Lego Movie 2, 5 years, I believe, after the first movie. That's a long time for the sequel. Yeah, 5 years, that's a long time for a sequel. And here we are, the people who watched it, like especially the younger kids, have grown up. 5 years older, right? They probably moved on to other things. And as we've seen in the drop off of the from the first movie, right? Of the first movie opened to 70 million. The sequel, the Lego Movie 2, only opened to about 35 million. So that's a big drop off there, which is surprising to me because I thought the drop off wouldn't be as steep, but it fell off huge. But the good thing is the sequel probably costs around the same as the first movie. 60 million for the first movie. Second, the sequel probably costs around, have to be sub 80s. If they go higher, they'll break the model for these type of movies. So I think it'll still be profitable at the box office. Worldwide, the movie already grossed 52 million, with about 19 million of that from overseas. It hasn't opened that wide yet. So even though the sequel cannot match the first movie's box office take, I think it'll be a successful movie in its own right. Alright, let's move on to number 2, and that is the rom-com What Men Want. It is kind of like the female remake of What Women Want, the movie that stars Mel Gibson and Helen Hunt. This one stars Taraji P. Henson and Tracy Morgan. She plays, I guess, an executive whose career has derailed because she is a female in the field dominated by male, and an accident happened. She hit her head, and she suddenly could read the thoughts of what the opposite sex is thinking. And this is a huge advantage for her and her supposedly love life. The movie pulled in 18.2 million in its opening weekend. I said the movie could probably open to about 15 million, so it's kind of there, 4 million off. Review wise, it's not that well reviewed at 46% on Rotten Tomatoes, but considering that is this type of movie, it's kind of like typically where it is at, right? But for the cinema score, it's an A-, so which is decent. The audience liked it. Alright, number 3 is Cold Pursuit. It is the Liam Neeson movie. February and Liam Neeson go hand in hand. He plays as a father whose son died from a drug overdose, and he's out for revenge against those people who peddled these harmful substances to his son. The movie opened to about 11 million, which is within my range. I project the movie to open somewhere between 10 to 15 million, and it opened kind of right there at the lower end. Review wise, it's actually pretty good, 74% on the tomato meter, B- cinema score though. This is a smaller film. Let's see. Let me check the budget number. Okay, I don't have the budget for Cold Pursuit, but I believe this movie probably cost around 40-some million or so. And if so, this 11 million opening is kind of okay, not great. And at 11 million, this movie it ranks as one of the lower openings for a Liam Neeson movie. And for Cold Pursuit, I expect a huge drop-off in the second weekend, so the box office could only go down from there. Alright, number 4 is The Upside. It is the dramedy starring Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston. Juliana Margulies is in here, as well as Nicole Kidman. Cranston plays a quadriplegic wealthy, who hires Hart to chaperone him around, and they end up learning from each other. Still holding on. It pulled in $7 million this past weekend, and drop off of only about 18% from the previous weekend. Domestic gross is about $85 million, and worldwide it is at $94 million, with about $9 million of that from overseas. So it's doing well for itself. All right, number 5 is Glass. Finally fell off in the top spot to come in number 5. Pulled in $6.3 million in its fourth weekend. Drop off of 34% from the previous week. Domestic gross is nearing $100 million at $90 million as I speak. And worldwide is at $222 million, and the budget is only $20 million. All right, number 6 is one of the newer releases last weekend. The horror movie The Prodigy. It opened to $5.8 million, which is pretty decent for a movie that cost $6 million to make. Review wise, it's kind of what you expect. 45% on the tomato meter and a C+ cinema score. So it's one of these another horror movie, generic horror movie with like a smart kid that has a dark side. I said the movie could probably open somewhere between 5 to 8 million, and it pulled in just right there, 5.8 million. All right, number 7 is Green Book. It pulled in 3.4 million in its 13th weekend. Got the Oscar bump right there, right? Domestic gross is 61 million. And worldwide, it is at 107 million, with 46 million of that from overseas. The budget for the movie is 23 million. So yes, getting good buzz, getting award accolades, it's doing well for itself. Number 8 is Aquaman. It pulled in 3.2 million in its 8th weekend. Domestic gross is 328 million, and worldwide it is at 1.1 billion, with 792 million of that from overseas. So yeah, as I said previously, Aquaman is the first movie in the DC cinematic universe, in the Zack Snyder era, to pull in 1 billion. Number 9 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It pulled in 3 million in its 9th weekend. 179 million domestically so far, and 352 million worldwide, with 172 million of that from overseas. The budget for the movie is about 90 million. All right, let's close out the top 10 with Miss Bala. It pulled in 2.7 million in the second weekend. Huge drop off, 60%. About 12 million domestically so far, and worldwide it hasn't opened that wide overseas yet, so the worldwide figure is about 12 million as well. The original movie didn't open that well here. I mean, it was in the festivals. It was submitted for Best Foreign Language Films, and this remake seems to be ignored with the general audience as well. All right, that's it for the top 10. Let's move on to the Y releases this weekend. We're going to have like 3 movies. 2 of them are opening on a Wednesday, because of Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is this Thursday. And we have 2 Wednesday openers. Because of that, we have Happy Death Day to You, which is the sequel to the 2017 horror movie Happy Death Day, about a teenager who wakes up every day and gets killed every day, and she has to break the cycle, to find a killer. And this is the sequel. And then there is Isn't It Romantic, starring Rebel Wilson, Liam Hemsworth, and the Indian actress Priyanka Chopra is here as well. And then finally we have Alita, Battle Angel. Robert Rodriguez directs, and a long-time project of James Cameron. All right, let's start with Happy Death Day 2, the Wednesday opener. As I said, sequel to the 2017 horror movie, which opened surprisingly well and did surprisingly well at the box office. It opened to 26 million, went on to make a 56 million domestically and 125 million worldwide, and the budget is only 5 million. And here we are with the sequel. Jessica Roth returns to star as that sad teenager who has to die over, or who got killed over and over again, until she finds who the real killer is and to break the cycle. And in this one, she's angry and fed up because she has to go through this process once again. So you can see that there's some alien resurrection vibe here, where where Sigourney Weaver is tired of having to come back and come back to save all these people from the aliens. So, Happy Death Day, sequel, horror movie. I don't know. From the trailer, it seems like this one is kind of self-aware of itself. It's kind of funny. But do people want to watch a horror movie that's kind of like poking fun at itself, or is in the joke itself? I don't know. It seems like it's kind of funny movie. I see this. I see Happy Death Day 2 more as a comedy than a horror movie. And for teens who are looking for something edgy to watch in theaters, they could definitely go for this. But I don't think it'll open as well as the first movie. Because it seems like they're rehashing the same formula, except this one they're in the people in the movie are kind of like in with the joke as well. So for 3 days I think it's gonna pull in 15 million, and 5 days 20 million. All right, let's move on to the other Wednesday opener. Isn't It Romantic, starring Rebel Wilson. I believe this is her the first movie with her in the starring role. In the other movies that she was in, she's always the as a side character. So this one is just her. She plays a woman who is trapped in a PG-13 rom-com. The emphasis is on PG-13 because that's part of the joke where she would have a sex scene and it would just cut to the next morning, etc. She couldn't swear and it would get bleeped out. That's part of the joke there. Liam Hemsworth is here playing the beefcake, of course, as well as the Indian actress Priyanka Chopra. The question is, will Rebel Wilson pull them in? She works well in these tiny, she stole scenes in these other movies that she was in, but this is all on her. This is her as the lead character. So will audience turn out for this? I think it's gonna do well. For 3 days, I think Isn't It Romantic is probably gonna pull in 20 million. For 5 days, 25 million. That's what I'll go with. All right, finally we come to the biggest movie of the lot. It is Alita: Battle Angel. It is in development for a long time by James Cameron. He chose not to direct it, instead handing this over to Robert Rodriguez. This movie features the voice of Rosa Salazar as Alita, the cyborg who lost her memory and is trying to recover them in this futuristic high-tech world. Christoph Waltz is in here, as well as Jennifer Connelly. Mahershala Ali, as well as Ed Skrein is here. This movie is a live-action CGI hybrid. If you don't know the story about Alita, it is it's kind of an influential work. That's kind of like maybe not on the same level as Ghost in the Shell, right? But this is a Japanese manga animation as well. It's very popular. But will Western audience turn out for this? I mean, the budget for this movie is exceedingly high, reportedly costing between 150 to 200 million. So that's huge. It has to open well here and has to open well overseas. But what this movie got that Ghost in the Shell didn't get is James Cameron's name attached. Right, James Cameron produces this movie. He has been developing this movie for a long time, and he chose not to direct it. And also, the story for Alita: Battle Angel is not as convoluted. Given that, I think I'm gonna go low with this one. It has a potential to open higher because of James Cameron. Right, he's anything he touches could potentially pull in 100 million or so. But this one is Robert Rodriguez. And about a story that Western audiences might not be that familiar with. And Alita is opening on a Thursday, I believe, right? So surprisingly, it's not opening on Friday, but it's opening on a Thursday. But I'm gonna go with the 3 day figure as well. For 3 days, probably it's gonna open somewhere in the 40 to 50 million range. If it's 4 days, it's probably 55 to 60 million. All right, that's it for this week's podcast. Tune in next time to see how I did with my projections. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.